Yeah, happy Monday, everybody. Hello, welcome to the show. It's Monday, and there's lots of good news floating around. But before we get into that, how was your weekend? We're going to talk about the Sarnia Sting and how their weekend was. And Danny Cacciamilio is the first one today to say hello. Happy Monday to you, Danny, as well. Are you working today again, Danny? You're always working. I know, right? Do you sleep at all? Good to have you here joining us on Monday, and two guests today. So looking forward to that. And there's Barry saying hello. Good afternoon, Barry. Happy Monday to you as well. How's the camera working? You getting lots of photos? We're getting close. We're getting close to warmer, right? Are we? Always working? Yeah, I hear you. Sleep when you're dead. There you go. And there's Jocelyn Sweeney saying hello. Good afternoon to you as well. And anybody else who's watching. I love the comments. Love it when you say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. Are you watching from here in town or another part of the world? Pardon me. Or are you watching from home? Or are you sneaking some time from work when you're supposed to be working? We won't tell anybody if you tell us. All right. Well, the weekend, right? Well, let's talk. Before we get into the hockey, let's talk about Super Bowl. And that was I'm not really the sports. I'm not the big sports guy. I know in football, like you got to get 10 yards somewhere. So that's what I know about football, to be honest about it. But I like a really good game. It's good to have a good game. And boy, what a game that was. Of course, the Rams coming out on top. But I got to tell you, I'm watching that game. I think the Bengals were, playing really well. And I think Rams were getting a little nervous there at one point. It was a really awesome game. Who else is out there? There's Jesse saying hello. Hello, Jesse. Working today, Jess, or are you? I'm surprised I haven't heard any. Jesse's my human gas buddy. He usually tells me Monday is usually the day the prices go up, I think. And Tracy says, hello, watching from home. Happy Monday. All these people showing up. Love it. And then we've got, what's this? Oh, gas price is 148.9. So you must be at work then. Great. Super Bowl, yeah. Wow, what a game. I went down to Wild Wing in downtown Sarnia there, and they're always nice and friendly to me, and got great wings down there. And watched the game on, I don't know, there was about 8 different screens around the room, so that was cool. And I didn't really have a team. I was just, like I said, I just want to see a really good football game, or any sport, really. I just want to see a good game. Although I was joking online during it. I mean, there was one point or a couple points where the players got all into a big scuffle, somewhat of a fight, and I was like, oh, I went to a football game and a hockey game broke out. But other than that, it was good. It was good to see. Halftime show, if anything, if you don't watch football, you just watch it for the halftime show. And wow, I think myself and so many others are like best halftime show ever. Snoop Dogg was in there. Dr. Dre, I love Dr. Dre. Eminem was in there. And Mary Jane, like it was just, and I've always been amazed. And I took my watch or my clock here, I guess you could say, on my phone, and they went for break and walked off the field at 8:00. At 8:10, they returned to the broadcast, and everything was all set up on the field, ready to go for the halftime show. It's always amazed me how within a 10-minute period, the logistics to pull that off has to be incredible to do. But what an incredible halftime show. And so much goes into that, right? You just think it looks so natural, like they just went up there and did it, but the rehearsing and the structure, anyway, it was really good. Who did you go for? Did anybody? Danny, I know you're a football guy, right? Were you, or anyone, what was your team? Will Ferrell showed up at the Super Bowl dressed in BC Lions stuff. Oh, is that right? Oh, I must have missed that. That sounds like something Will Ferrell would do. He's a funny guy. Who else is out there? Dawn Stillwell. Actually, hey, Dawn, nice to have you here. Dawn's going to be joining me next week here on the show to talk about her new book. So stay tuned. I'll be talking about that at the end. Right now, and I was going to show it at the end, but she's got another book out right now called The Quarantine Widow. Still got it right here, Dawn. And she's a great author. And she'll be here next week for that. I'm having trouble seeing things here, and I don't know what's going on. It's been a techie week. There we go. All right. Well, I always got to talk and take a moment and say thank you, of course, to all my supporters and my sponsors who have been fantastic, even all through COVID. They've really kept things going, and it's a big help here on the show. Thanks to our friends at Hughes Intelligence Security Services who support me here on the show, and also for our live broadcasts at Sarnia Sting. So thanks to Barry and his team for their continued support. Huron Signs SWO, which is a part of the AG Events Graphics group of companies, and Guy, been a great supporter for 10 years, 10 solid years of support here on the show and with my Sarnia Sting broadcasts and just everything we do with the show. So Guy, I'm super grateful. You know that. Joe's Discount Tire came on a few years ago, and they've been really supportive as well. And it's I don't know what the difference is. Also, I thought all seasons tires just meant you'd buy those tires and you were good all seasons. But apparently not. That would make sense. I don't know why do they call them all seasons tires if they don't work for all seasons. You still need snow tires. Go down to Joe's Discount Tire. Ask them. Tell them I sent you and said David wants to know the difference between all season tires and winter tires. It's still here, right? And then of course Tourism Sarnia Lambton has always been a great partner with us, but now in a more official manner. Mark Perrin and his team down there, even through the pandemic, have done some amazing things to keep tourism growing. There's a challenge. You're not allowed to do anything anywhere, and you still got to create tourism. Who wants that job? Well, Mark Perrin and his team do a great job, and they support us here on the show and also with our Sarnia Sting as well. So thank you to all of our supporters for that. Now, of course, I do have to get into the Sarnia Sting. Well, it was a split decision. You know, this is tough, right? They went down to the Sioux and they played Friday night and then Saturday night, back-to-back games on the weekend for the Sarnia Sting. And let's be honest, they've been having a rough go. I call them, it's been like the stock market for them. It's been up and down and you never know which way it's going to go. But they keep persisting through and pushing through. And I still think they've got some more surprises to come out for us. But Sioux Greyhounds, not an easy team to beat, right, Danny? If Danny's still out there listening, he's originally from the Sioux Ste. Marie area. But we took it to them Friday night, 3-0, which was fantastic, right? And which was interesting when we talk about shots on goal. Like, I don't know how well you can see that there, but like the Sioux Greyhounds had 45 shots on goal, and we had 25, and we got 3 in, and they got none. So that's pretty incredible game. I'm sorry that I missed that one. But then it really made the Sioux Greyhounds angry because they came back the next night on Saturday and said, yeah, well, we're taking this one 5-3. And it was an interesting game. I know a couple people who were there and they were telling me about it. I didn't get to see it either, but and I'm trying to see. There we go. Happy Monday, Carl. Nice to have you here, buddy, as well. Cool. So, way to go, Sarnia Sting. At least, half there. And now we'll be back there on Friday. Kitchener Rangers coming to town, which will be a little bit of Sting will be looking for a payback there. Last time they came to town, I think it was like January 30th or something like that. And Kitchener Rangers came to town and beat us 6-5. If I recall, it was an overtime shootout. So it was an amazing game, but we just didn't come out there. So Sarnia Sting will be looking for some payback for sure on there. So go Sting go. And as always, you can go to their website and you can purchase the merchandise and you can still do the 50-50. They've got it set up. You can do the 50-50 online. So just go to sarniasting.com, find out about the merchandise and give their support. Now, what's happening there officially still 500 people allowed in. So they've been, allowing some sort of, they've made an arrangement with the season's ticket holders to have first priority. But of course, with the government today making some new announcements, 50% is going to be for the like large sports arenas and stuff. 50% capacity now, I believe, starting February 17th. But the Sarnia Sting haven't officially put out anything just yet. So restrictions are getting eased up a little bit more. Boy, there's just so much going on with that. Don't we all just want it done, right? The light at the end of the tunnel is getting closer. It's just been a really long tunnel, but we're getting there. And it would be nice to see. I have to say, when we were doing the Sarnia Sting and there was no spectators allowed, and it was just us media that were there doing our jobs, it was such a different vibe. But the Sarnia Sting did a fantastic job. Shout out to my friend Jake Boria at the Sarnia Sting and his team for creating an atmosphere, even just for the televised portion or the live stream portion. You know, they had the audio tracks with the cheering of the fans, and Josh Boyce was still there doing all the PA announcements. So we got the experience, but it was definitely nice when we got to see some people back in the seats, and we're going to be seeing more of that as well. If you do want to find out more about all the restrictions that are being lifted, or the new guidelines that are coming, you can go to my website, theshowlive.live, and I've got everything posted there for you as well. So once again, we will be live there. Again, thanks to support from Hughes Intelligence and our friends at Tourism Sarnia at Lambton. If you are not going to the game, you can watch on your TV Sarnia on their HD channel, channel 700, with Terry Doyle and Barry Wright do the live play-by-play, or CHOK on 103.9 FM, 1070 AM with our friends Lee Cunningham and Patrick DeRochery. And there is a CHL app that you can download from there as well. And by all means, follow the Sarnia Sting on all their social media. We're doing an audio chat room. So while the game is on, you can go over to my Facebook group, The Show with David Burrows group, and join in the audio conversation if you're watching from home or wherever you're watching from. And you can it's kind of like a Clubhouse thing, but Facebook, right? So you can join us with that. And we've been having some great conversations in the room there. So we hope you'll join us for all of that. All right. Well, my first guest, it's always a pleasure to have her here and joining me, because she's always got a smile on her face and she's always up to something positive. Let's bring her in here right now. Renee from River City Vineyard. Hello, Renee. There's that smile I was talking about.
Hi, Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. And how are you doing down there yourself and at River City?
Yeah, both are doing really, really well. Personally, we just moved into our brand new house that we finished building, so that was exciting for myself.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And then, yeah, River City's doing very, very well. Just working on our shelter expansion, serving lots of people in the wintertime. We're always the community. We function as a community center through the week, and we always see lots and lots of people come through our doors. So doing very well.
I imagine, the cold part of the year, you really see an increase in people coming in for obvious reasons. It's cold, right?
Yeah, we do. And definitely through COVID, our numbers went up exponentially too, just with more people needing a place to stay and more people needing just different food and hygiene services as well.
Right. Now, what is your position down there, Renee? I know you're super involved there with the church as well and everything. What is your title?
Yeah, so my official title, I guess, is worship pastor. So I'm the associate to the lead pastor, George Esser.
Okay, great. How's George doing? Boy, I haven't seen him in a long time.
He's doing great too. Very, very well.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I know it's been how many years now for River City Vineyard? Do you know that answer?
Yeah, it was 30 years back in 2018. So I guess that makes us almost, this year will be 34 years.
Wow. To think it's been around that long. Fantastic. And so many great things have happened there, and then not without its own obstacles along the way, for sure, right? I know, like with the homeless shelter, there were some obstacles there, but and just other challenges trying to make sure that everybody's safe. Then the pandemic shows up, and now you really got to make sure everybody's safe.
Yeah.
How has it been, or what were those challenges like through the pandemic that I guess we're still technically still in there?
Yeah, I think we just continued forward as best as we knew that we could. we were able to keep our beds open and just keep everybody as socially distanced downstairs as we could. Fortunately, we really didn't suffer with any major COVID outbreaks of any kind. So we were very, very blessed that way, very fortunate. And yeah, just as the needs went up, I think the good part of the pandemic, if there is any, is just that I think the community became more aware of who River City is and the different services that we provide. So we did get a lot more awareness just because we were serving a lot more people. So that has been a very positive thing, and the community just continues to step up and just support us in so many existing ways and new people. So that part has been very, very positive through a very challenging time.
Yeah. I probably say it every week here on the show, but I think most would agree that this community of Sarnia Lambton, when there's a need or needs support, they just come together. It's like, what do you need? Here you go. And, I think, for the pandemic, like you said, too, it has created some more awareness for a lot of organizations just because those needs just kind of went, whoop, all of a sudden. And it's like, oh, what are we going to do? And people have had to adapt. It looked like I was on the Facebook page earlier today for River City. And folks, if you want to know more about them, there's their Facebook on the screen there. You really have adapted to some unique fundraisers. Like, tell everybody about your amazing musical talents that you have.
Oh, wow. I sing a little. Yeah, so I'm in a few different groups, and one of the groups that I'm in is R&R, which is just a good friend of mine, Robert Todd. So we had just kind of chatted about maybe a fun way that we could raise some money for River City on one end and raise awareness for the Coldest Night of the Year walk that we're doing too. So his sister was fantastic, and she hosted a live Facebook event from her living room, and we just played a couple hours of live music, just a little bit of pop, rock, country. Had about 10 people there to have a live audience to make it a little more exciting.
Yeah, you need that audience for that energy, right?
Yeah. So we were able to raise $680 towards our Coldest Night event just in that 2-hour concert. So that was very
fantastic.
Yeah, and it just felt good to be able to play live music again after a long break. So yeah, it was really, really neat.
Yeah. And yeah, like you say, a little bit of maybe stress relief or whatever, just to be able to perform and have a little bit of fun and take some load off the shoulder there, right? And you do have a wonderful voice, Renee. I've known you for years, and you've always been a great singer. I don't know what you're doing hanging around that Robert Todd guy, but I've known Robert for years as well, so I can get away with that, I think. Yeah, that's great. And I watched some of it, and you guys did a fantastic job playing for that. You seem to be on track for raising funds, but it's really never enough. Like, I know, let's talk some numbers. Like, you're doing better than last year right at this point with Coldest Night of the Year. Is that accurate?
I think we're a little bit behind. We were ahead of the game for the most part, but we're in that last 2-week window. The interesting thing about last year is our goal was $20,000, and we blew right past it and went up to $44,000 last year. Yeah, so that was just a wonderful surprise. So this year we set our goal at $40,000. And right now we're almost at 28,000, which is just about 70%. So really, really exciting. But it's that really exciting time with only, I think, 12 days left until the event. But that's when everybody really starts to ramp up because they realize we're getting near the end. So I'm really optimistic that we're going to hit a goal. It's going really, really well. We have 83 walkers so far and 22 teams.
Wow.
And out of those teams, only 4 are directly from River City. The rest are just from the community. So
I was just going to ask that question. Yeah. How many? That's amazing if it's outside of River City. So friendly competition going on there between teams, like we're going to raise more money than you, or?
Oh, that's usually me trying to be the big man telling people that I'm in the lead, so they have to come catch me. But yeah, that is the fun part of the event, right? Is that you do have friendly competitions between the teams, and even you can look at the national scoreboard and you can see how the other charities in your area are doing. So definitely the competition makes it a little bit more fun.
Yeah. And folks, if you want to donate to the Coldest Night of the Year in support of the River City Vineyard, again, link on the screen. We'll be sharing all these links after the show today as well on our Facebook page. So you can check it out there, and of course you can also go to their Facebook. There's a story here that, and I'm going to put you on the spot here, but there's a story that I just saw on the River City Vineyard page, and I thought, wow, I'm all about impact, right? I believe we all have a way to make an impact on other people's lives, our own lives, our families. There's somebody here that walked up to you. We say and the pandemic has been stressful on people in many ways. Finances would definitely be near the top of that list. But here's somebody that walked up to you and gave you a $5 bill all folded up. Tell this story.
Yeah, so this was actually during our church service yesterday on the break. I had just previously, right before the break, just announced how our fundraiser was doing, just to give the church an update. And this is one of our gentlemen who was attending church that morning, who is staying in our shelter too. So he just quietly walked over to me during the break and handed me this $5 bill with tears in his eyes. And he just looked at me and said, I want to do whatever I can to help. And it's hard to even put into words how much that $5 means, right? Because to you or I, that might not seem like that much, but for somebody like that, more than likely that $5 means a whole lot more to him. And a lot of our guys in the shelter are so generous. They just give what they have to the people around them, and it's I'm gonna cry.
It's okay.
It's so humbling, because you think you're the one there to help, but they constantly teach me and show me things that it's just, so humbling and so amazing to see the heart that some of these guys have. And I think that's what River City does really, really well, is we get to know as many of our guys as we can. We call them that. They're our guys. They're not just a name on the page. They're not just a number in a bed. We try to get to know all of them. Another one of our guys yesterday, I overheard him talking to one of our other staff members. Well, you're my shelter mom. So there's so much community there. And there's always going to be ones that do cause a scene, or that we do have to kick out, or that we do have altercations with. But so many of them have such a huge heart. And they're our guys, and that's what we strive to do there at River City, is to not just to give them a place, but to extend love and just treat them like the human beings, because they deserve that love, and they deserve somewhere warm to stay and something to eat. And that's what we really, really strive to do, not only with our shelter, but all of our outreach programs that we have too.
Yeah, and no different from any home. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to deal with the tough love, and you have to say, and people are expected to be respectful in the home, and mm-hmm. And if you're not, well, then that's you've made that choice now, I guess, right? And which I'm sure is not easy to do, because a lot of times there are people who are suffering, but there's other facilities that people can go to get help for, that maybe would be a better place for them, right? As far as what they're involved with. But River City Vineyard, I've watched from afar for so many years, and it's just done so many incredible things. You and George and quite the team down there. I think a lot of times, though, and that's a great story, and thanks for sharing that as well. I think it's just important for people to understand that, you've got some loose change lying around. I think sometimes you feel like, well, I'm only giving $5. That's not really enough. If that's what you can do, that's okay. Go ahead down to River City Vineyard. They will take that and put it towards their goal. I think a lot of times too, when we talk about River City Vineyard, and this is really important that I want to put this out there, we just think of the homeless shelter, or Sunday morning church kind of thing. But there's so much more there, like clothing. I know my wife and we just dropped off a big bag there a couple of weeks ago of clothing. Food bank. You're a food bank that needs to help out with those that you're assisting there, and these shelves are looking kind of bare.
Yeah, and it's we generally get a lot of donations right before Christmas, and that food bank was pretty full, and here we are just into February, and it's already depleted quite a bit. So just again highlights the need in our community, especially during the pandemic. Just a lot of people are struggling a little bit more than they may have been before. The other thing that our food bank does do, and this is in partnership with the United Way, they've been fantastic at and helping us out financially too, and giving us different grants, is they help with a snack bag program. So again, you think pre-COVID, there's a lot of places you could go to get a meal, and a lot of those meals still haven't returned yet just due to the restrictions. So the United Way has funded, well, yeah, we call it our snack bag program. So it's just a ready-made brown paper sack of a ready-to-go meal that has something to drink, some quick snacks. Try to put in a piece of fruit when we can. So just another thing that if you're on the street and you don't have any way to cook, a box of Kraft Dinner isn't very useful to you in that time. So that's why we have these snack packs, so that everybody who is on the street can just grab one and stay fed.
Yeah. And you're getting some response from your story there as well. That's what I'm sharing. Joan Biggs says, thank you for being there. And our friend Anita Manelia, great story. Thanks for sharing. Reminds me of the Bible story where the widow gave pennies to the church, essentially all she had, right? And pennies do that. Well, do we still have pennies? But nickels, anyway, still add up. And I think pennies are still legal tender, right? So, if people want to donate, I know for the coldest night of the year, we've got a link here, right? They can do that. Are you taking donations at River City as well for coldest night of the year?
It's easiest through the website. If somebody really wants to, there are a few people that are at the front desk that I think are registered that could take that donation.
Okay.
The website is the easiest way to do it. If you click on that link and then you scroll down, you'll see the 83 walkers that are listed. So you can click on one of them, or you can click on a team and you can donate. It's a very secure online donation. Any donation, $20 or more, does get a tax receipt. So that would come out next year because it is a 2022 donation. And yeah, I just want to highlight too that all the money that we're raising, we're working on our homeless shelter expansion, and that's where this money is going towards. So currently we have 24 beds downstairs just for men. Our shelter expansion is going to be 40 more beds, and that's going to have 15 specifically for women. And that's what we fundraised for last year, and that's what we're still fundraising for this year. We're getting closer to getting it open. It's hard to say an exact timeline because we just move forward as the money comes in. We work as much as we can. So the drywall is up, all the electrical's in, a lot of the bed frames are getting built. So we're making really, really good progress. But like I said, just as the money comes in, we continue to push along. So any donation that comes in towards our coldest night is going to get that shelter expansion open.
Awesome. Are you hammering and nailing it in there too? Are you helping build? Are you that person?
I'm not one of those persons.
No.
You have one of our other staff members that she's this sweet little blonde thing that you would never imagine, and she's in there working up a storm. She's amazing. So
that's awesome. We've all got a role in this, right?
Yeah.
So, working all together is going to make it come true, and really making it such a great impact on those in our community that need that. And Renee, congratulations to you and to George and the team for. I know you've got a great team down there.
They're amazing.
Congratulations to all of you and thank you for having such a great positive impact on our community.
It really is an honor. Like I said, it can be incredibly tough, but the life lessons that I get taught, I think I get more out of it some days than the guys do, to be honest. So
I hear you. Renee, you're welcome back anytime, and good luck with the campaign.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye now. Renee from River City Vineyard. I told you, she's always got a smile on her face and always positive. And there's some positive things happening down there at River City Vineyard. Again, their coldest night of the year event. They did it last year. They're doing it again, and they're asking you for your support. And the best way to support them is right there on the website. Again, we'll post this after the show. But of course, the food donations, clothing donations, toiletries, and soap. But that's always a really big need as well. Can be dropped off down at River City Vineyard over here on Mitten Street. And I tell you, when you walk in, it's always like, hi, how you doing? It's so welcoming. So think about that the next time you're looking to donate. Thanks again, Renee. All right. Well, lots going on in the healthcare world. And boy, we could probably do 20 shows on this one. But we've got our friend Shirley Roebuck, who is coming on now to join us. She is from the Ontario Health Coalition here in Sarnia-Lambton. Hello, Shirley.
How are you, Dave? Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm glad we could make it work for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, right. With technical issues last time, but that's okay. We got through it, and you're here. Ontario Health Coalition, Sarnia-Lambton. That's a mouthful to put together. Just kind of tell everybody what is the Ontario Health Coalition?
Okay, the Ontario Health Coalition is a provincial body, which is nonpartisan, nonprofit, with one mandate only, and that's to preserve and strengthen our public healthcare system.
Right.
We stand against privatization of any healthcare service at all. We believe everyone has the right to all healthcare services available. The Ontario Health Coalition, Sarnia-Lambton, sorry, my cat is doing this.
Happens all the time. Let her sit there.
It is a local coalition. We work under the umbrella of our provincial body, and we work locally to maintain and strengthen public health services in Sarnia-Lambton.
Okay. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot to do. I'm sure you're dealing with a lot of obstacles, etc. Politics gets in the way there too, and there's so much happening. It might seem obvious to some, but maybe not to everyone. Why not privatization? What's the issue here? What happens, or what's the concern if we were to start privatizing our healthcare system? Well,
privatization of services has been shown to be more expensive and less efficient. In Brampton, for instance, they built 2 new hospitals. They were called P3s. It's public money and private enterprise. And the Brampton folks ended up with too few beds and rooms that weren't up to code, etc. And a lot of the work had to be redone. As far as services go, I mean, I can tell you, Dave, that it's already started here in Sarnia-Lambton. There's a duo of fellows that are set up some sort of screening tab or access, I guess, to MRIs, and I think that's it, and other diagnostic surgeries in Port Huron. So what happens is that you get to jump the queue. We feel it's not fair for anyone to jump the queue. In our public healthcare system, my history is working in emergency, and that's where the worst comes first.
Right.
And that's the only time really that someone jumps the queue. It's not nice to be in a big old lineup, and you may have to wait, but we pay for these services through our taxes, and we should have access to them.
Right. Now, speaking of taxes, what about the government?
So I don't think privatization benefits anyone except the owners of the service.
Okay, gotcha. Right. So speaking of taxes, let's talk about the government. What's their involvement in this? Didn't we see something like this happen with the long-term care homes?
Well, you're going to get me angry now.
Okay.
Long-term care across the province, I mean, a lot of it is owned and operated by private for-profit companies.
Right.
Rivera, they own Sumac Lodge, which just is going to be building a new home somewhere on London Line. Chartwell, Extendicare, all of these huge companies are posting big profits and giving their shareholders a lot of money, and also their CEOs a lot of bonuses. But the elderly pay a fair price for a long-term care bed, and yet there's not enough staff. There's not enough anything really. That if COVID did anything, just you were talking to your last guest about COVID bringing to light what's happening with homelessness. COVID did the same for the crisis in long-term care.
Yeah.
The work is so heavy. The work is backbreaking and it's soul-breaking. And so a lot of people are leaving, and a lot of people do not want to live or want to work in long-term care.
Mm-hmm.
There was an article just recently about, I think 100 PSWs were going to be hired for Sarnia, Lambton, Chatham, Kent, and Windsor, Essex. Well, okay, so that's 33 for Sarnia, Lambton. And how many homes are here? Right. So like a few PSWs hither, thither, and yon are not going to solve this problem. I'll tell you what will solve it, and that's getting rid of the profit making in long-term care, making everything nonprofit, and better staffing, more responsible staffing, and accountability on the not owner's side, but whoever's running the home has to be accountable for what happens in that home. And we've all heard the stories, you know, in Toronto, starvation, dehydration, death. I'm glad we didn't see things like that here. But, you know, I believe that we're almost there.
It's coming.
Think there are
so
some...
you're trying to prevent something similar from happening here in our area, right?
Well, I think when you pay for a service, you should receive that service.
Right.
And profits shouldn't be made on the backs of our loved ones.
Okay. So what about, what would your response be then to, like, I see, isn't the government putting out, like, paying for people to go to school to become PSWs? Have they not done anything to try to encourage that? Is that a positive thing?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Except to fix the short staffing issue in long-term care, we need something like 50,000 PSWs.
Right.
So, sure, I'm glad they're listening to us. I'm glad they're trying to train people. But even if you train one person and you put them into a long-term care home, and you don't increase the staffing to allow for good care, how long is that person really going to stay? When she or he walks into the long-term care home and say, oh, well, here, you've got 18 patients.
Well,
and all of those patients have to be fully bathed, fully fed, and fully ambulated.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
And like you said, kind of soul breaking or disheartening, right, to that person to try to push through and get through it.
Most of these people are good people, and they want to do a good job. They have no possibility of being able to do the work they're asked to do.
Yeah. Kind of like driving a car with 3 wheels. You're not going to get too far. Right.
That's right.
So what kind of things
I just like to...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'd just like to say that Doug Ford's government, they've already posted some information about the budget for 22-23.
Okay.
And that's available for people to see at the Financial Accountability Office online. And yes, it took me a heck of a long time to find it, but you can find it.
Okay.
They're planning on cutting $18 billion from public services in that year.
Wow.
So we're at a place where there's no more staff to be laid off. I doubt there's any management to be laid off. So now we're up to services.
Right.
So what does that mean for Sarnia Lambton? It might mean no more specialty clinics. It might mean decrease in services in Petrolia. It might mean privatization of some services.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I'm trying to say is we all have a responsibility to fight for our public health system.
For sure.
And I'm here asking everybody to join us. So sorry, that was a long answer.
No, that's fine. Hey, informing. That's what we're doing here, and that's half the battle a lot of times. So, okay, we're kind of understanding the situation. So, what is the Ontario Health Coalition currently focusing on, and like what kind of steps do you do to fight this? I guess.
Okay, for people in Sarnia-Lambton, you can go to our Facebook page. It's on the screen there, OHC Sarnia-Lambton. Yep. You can join. My contact information will be there. I'll give you my email right now, goddess@bell.net. And my telephone number is 226-402-2724. You can join our group. And what our group, along with all of the other provincial coalitions, are doing right now is we're focusing on privatization. And that means privatization in long-term care, in hospital services, and in home care. The government is quietly giving most of the new long-term care beds they announced to private for-profit businesses that provide long-term care. They're also quietly going to privatize the remaining public parts of home care. There are a few groups here and there that are still public. I won't give any names because I'm not really sure of them. Sorry. Okay. But certainly the whole home care sector needs to be revamped. And I'm very upset about what will happen in hospitals. Like there were 300,000 less surgeries done during this pandemic than before. And so the Toronto Star has an article this morning saying that, you know, it's going to take years to catch up on all of these surgeries. That's with the funding today. You go into most hospitals, and if you were a mouse, you could get around and see what's going on in most hospitals. There are empty operating rooms. There are empty wards. So if the hospital had money to staff, we wouldn't need any new hospitals or any privatization.
Right.
Okay, and this is really the result of 25 years of austerity. It started with Mike Harrison right on through. And we're saying we need healthcare funded properly with the right amount of staff and the right type of staff. And I think everyone really wants public healthcare, so that's what we're doing. If people come to the Sarnia-Lambton Coalition site, you'll see that we're putting on an organizing meeting, and I can give, if you contact me, I'll give you the Zoom link for that. And the organizing meeting is for our local summit. We will be having a local privatization summit sometime in March. They will be happening province-wide. But we need to educate the public, so the public, however they choose to vote, they will make an informed vote. Right.
Gotcha. Well, Shirley, this has been very informative, I should say, I guess is the word. More than I understand it more than I did before. So thank you so much for sharing this, what sounds like a really important issue here. I really had no idea it was to those lengths, you know, and the numbers you shared, like 18 billion, that's with a B. Yeah. That's a lot. So before I let you go, I've got to move on. And any final thoughts or words that you want to put out there to our viewers?
Please come out and join us. If we all work together, we can save our public healthcare system.
Very good. Shirley, thank you so much. Keep me posted and updated on things that are happening, and we can have you back for an update anytime.
Thanks so much, Dave. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. Shirley Roebuck from the Ontario Health Coalition, Sarnia Lambton. Wow, some disturbing numbers there and interesting. I had no idea, so I'm thankful for Shirley for sharing that. And she will keep us posted and updated. If you want to find out how you can help out, there's her email and her phone number. Once again, she invites you to reach out to her for more information. And I say there's a Zoom link that she'll share with you as well for people to join and learn more and understand more. And of course, go to their Facebook group, the Ontario Health Coalition, Sarnia Lambton. Thanks again, Shirley. And yes, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. There's I got the red tie on, and I thought I don't have a red flower or anything, but do you celebrate Valentine's Day? Some do, some don't. I don't know. It depends if you're single or married. We sort of celebrated a little bit over the weekend, but it's back to work on Monday, right? And here we are. So just a couple of mentions. I'd like to remind everybody about No One Stands Alone, a booklet made by my friend Deb Patel, or you can find out more online at noonestandsalone.ca. Of course, a list of multiple services from mental health to assault survivors to St. Clair Child and Youth, a whole list of services. If you're looking for something, this is the booklet or the website to check out for that. We got some more happening here. Dawn. My book that I'll talk about next week is Jennifer's Choice, A Right to Die Story. Yes, you brought me to that, from author of The Quarantine Widow. Also now Jennifer's Choice, A Right to Die Story, Dawn Stillwell. Looking forward to having you here to share your story and your new book that's out for that. And looking forward to seeing you all back here once again here on the show. Always grateful, and of course, super grateful always for all my supporters here, my sponsors. And looking forward to seeing you back here again next week. Do me a favor. I love it when you click the like or the share or the like or the love button. But the most important one that you can put out there is click the share button. Share this around so that the people that we're talking to here today on our show get the attention and we create some more awareness for everybody that was here today. Thanks, everybody, for watching once again. That's all the time I got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. I will see you next time right here on the show. Bye-bye for now.